Boy, what am say people, what am say? This is your girl Aleisha Lee, and welcome back to another episode of Motivational Lee. Yes. Before we get into this week's episode, which is all about intuition, make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, share with your people, hit the notification bell so you know every time I upload. And without further ado, let's get into this. So, this week's episode is all about intuition. Listen to yours to be true to yourself. Now, with intuition, I believe that intuition is that spark, it's that thought, it's that initial feeling that you have. It's just something that you know, or it's something that will spark some sort of change or movement inside of you, some sort of feeling that will lead you to a place of clarity. So, for example, just say you were at a job that you really disliked, you hated it, like every day you're going in, you're just so not happy, like it's just trash, like I need to get out. And you're there at work and you're daydreaming, you just have this thought of, what if I left my job? Boom, and it's gone again. It sparks something in you, and it sparks a feeling. You start to think of a different reality, and even if it's a thing where you dismiss it, it's basically your inner voice saying, "Oh, forget that. Like, come on now, fam. You know you need money. Like, what are you trying to do out here? Are you mad?" But ultimately, you know for a fact that you don't like this workplace, you're not happy here, you want to leave. So why did you have that gut feeling, that hunch, that, what if I left? Boom. What is that? And that is what I believe is intuition, regardless of what situation you're in. Just that initial feeling, that. And some people describe intuition as having this physical feeling, a feeling inside of you where you don't feel, you feel a bit tight, you feel a bit. And sometimes there's different types of these feelings, in terms of a feeling where you feel excited, or a feeling where you can just sense there's going to be a change that comes. That is intuition. And sometimes the problem is we don't listen to that enough, and we end up going into situations where it might not serve us. Other times we do listen to it, and we still end up in situations that might not have served us, but ultimately we've learned some sort of lesson, or we've gained some sort of clarity, regardless of what that intuition was, or that hunch, or that gut feeling was. You listen to it, and then that allows you to start doing the steps that will ultimately lead you to a better outcome for yourself overall. Ways to start getting more in tune and start listening to your intuition are: first one is meditation. Let's just simplify meditation. The way I simplify it is just having a moment. I'm not really thinking or doing, I'm just still. Now, this is as deep as the other day I was on the train and I was meditating. No one would know I was meditating. I knew I was meditating. Why? Because I was meditating. I just went into a moment, my eyes were closed, I got my shades on, you know me, and no one could really see. Like, I just looked like a normal passenger on the train, but I was actually meditating. It's that serious. People underestimate how easy it is to actually meditate, and to just give yourself a moment of you're not doing nothing. And I think with meditation, just start literally with 10 seconds, 10 seconds of this, like literally just, that weren't 10 seconds, but you know what I mean. Just start, just a moment of, the longer you do that, the more answers will start coming to you. Because what happens is you start thinking about the things you want, what will make you feel good, what will make you happy. And then from there, you're able to start doing actions that will lead you towards it. I'm telling you, please give it a try if you haven't already. I know people always big it up, but you don't need to do 30 minutes, an hour. You can start with just as much as like 17 seconds. Just give yourself 10 seconds just to think about the things that you want, and just to cut yourself off from all of the hustle and bustle and everything that's going on, all the issues and problems. Just give yourself that moment of calm. I'm telling you, you will find the answers, and eventually over time you'll end up building it and having moments where you might have a whole weekend away where you're meditating and just giving yourself that time to have that time with yourself, go inside and find all of the inner answers that you need and get closer to your intuition and just be able to trust yourself more on decisions. The next step is talk to yourself. I mean, if you have to talk out loud to yourself, that's fine, but have the conversation in your brain. When that spark, that intuition comes in, how did it make you feel? What do you think it's trying to tell you? What do you think it's trying to lead you towards? What kind of thought process do you think that spark is coming from? What kind of thought process do you think that intuition wants you to take? Using the example of when you're at work and that thought that just comes into your mind, oh, what if I left? Would I be happier? Would you? That's your intuition saying to you, maybe try exploring other options in terms of how to be happier on it. So you would have to have that, and that would be then the start of that conversation that we talked about earlier, where you start asking, right, how would I leave? What do I need to do? Do I need to leave now? Is this something I really want to do? And then that's when you start finding the nitty gritty. You start digging in and getting to the real core of what it is that you really want. And the next and final tip is trust yourself, trust your intuition. Even if it's given a feeling that may feel uncomfortable, more likely that uncomfortable feeling is the feeling that you need in order to start the change, in order to spur the change that you need inside of you. So trust yourself, and when you do get those feelings, delve into them some more, start asking the questions, take time out to meditate and think about that question in your mind. And when you open your eyes, you will feel a bit more clear, you will feel that clarity. Through you doing that, it leads you to an outcome that might not be the outcome that you wanted ideally, but ultimately it is taking you a step closer to being much more clear on things. So it's a win-win. And yes, people, that wraps it up for this week's episode of Motivational Lee. Let me know your thoughts on intuition. Are you in tune with yours? Do you listen to your gut feeling, or do you take a step back? What do you do when you start having those thoughts or those weird feelings inside of you? How do you deal with it? And what do you do to get closer to your inner voice? Let me know, leave it in the comments below. You never know who you might be helping. And make sure you hit that like, that subscribe button, share with your people, and let's get in tune. Done now. Have a great week. Boy.
Just lower your tone, cause you can get hit.
Yo, if you pick up your phone about the earth it. Everybody come in here like them sorted. Some so stiff face, got no movement. Some me know say they far from perfect. You see me, see my team. Everybody knows that we keep it clean. Even when we're dirty dancing on the street, we enjoy everything that life brings. Some things say 99, I know. Everybody knows say them like my flow. When they hear me, they want to know who the girl up on the microphone. They want to know who the girl up on the microphone. See my head and Wiz Khalifa, and my eyes wide shut down. That's how I do every show. Pick up your phone about the earth, it take time, energy, I feel be right. Too much bad man around, me no want it, so me just go on and enjoy my life. You know me, live carefree, don't give a damn, so me no give a damn.